So good evening. Tonight we're going to talk about what to do when your YouTube channel has flatlined. By that I mean stopped growing. And my victim for this evening is Joan. Joan started a new channel February of this year and had some initial traction, but now it's, as the title might suggest, flatlined a little, hasn't it, Joan? Do you want to tell us a bit about your channel first before I get stuck in?
I am a flatline woman, I've decided, yes. So my channel launched in February. I didn't actually put the first videos up until the 17th of March. My channel is called Pray for a Minute, which, as I hope the title might suggest, it offers prayers that can be said in less than a minute on videos in which you can watch in less than a minute. So they're all short prayers on short videos.
Okay, and they're original ones that you've made up, or?
It's a mix. I would say maybe 70% I've written myself, but there are some that are traditional prayers that are not copyrighted that you're allowed to use. Right. So there are a smattering of those, but I would say probably about 70% of prayers that I've written.
Okay, great. So I know that's a massive market because, well, I've actually worked with a lady who's in that space, but also I'm driven by numbers, and it doesn't take very long to show that that's a huge market if you can grab your little piece of it. I've put together a short presentation which is fairly general in nature, but then we're going to use your channel and one, possibly two of my channels to demonstrate some points. Don't know how long we'll take, possibly half an hour, possibly an hour. I'm in no rush. We'll just see. And we'll try and take questions as people type them into Facebook as well. First thing I'll do, though, is share my screen, because it's normally what I forget to do. And that makes for a lot of editing later. Okay, so YouTube, what happens, or how to rescue a channel, resuscitate a channel when it's flatlined. And I just took a screenshot of your channel. Pray for a Minute is what it's currently called. I might suggest we change that a little bit for reasons that we'll go into. A quick summary of your stats. It's been around, you told me, since February of this year. Is that right?
Well, March, when I put March the 17th, St. Patrick's Day, actually, when I put up my first 5 videos. That's when it kicked off, so to speak.
Okay, perfect. And you've got 2,100-ish views and 10 subscribers. And, you know, you got off to a reasonable start, didn't you, around here?
Well, yeah, it felt like a fairly encouraging start. Yeah, good. I never imagined it was going to be huge, but especially because it's so new and I'm quite new, not just at making videos, but quite new at writing prayers. So, yeah, so it kicked off okay. There was at least something was happening.
Yeah, and that's often the case. When you first start a channel and you get noticed by the algorithm, you get a sort of little beginner's boost, if you like.
Yeah.
But that very quickly wears off, and the algorithm generally doesn't like new channels because it knows that most new channels disappear because people lose interest.
Okay.
So you get a little bit of a boost initially. It's all excited because there's a new creator on the platform. But you want it, you got to work for it because there's new people coming on every single day.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at what sort of general flatline causes. And just for clarification, by flatline, I mean the channel, hasn't died and gone away. It's just not growing anymore. So the number one reason for channels flatlining is that people don't put new content up there. When you first, particularly when you first start a channel, when you put videos up, you either get views or you get data or you educate the algorithm, or all three of those. But no new content. Why would YouTube care about you anymore? Because clearly you're one of the millions of people that's started, New Year's resolution, and by February it's all gone.
Yeah, mine was a Lenten resolution, actually. Right. I was doing it for Lent, but then thought, I'll keep on doing it. But yeah, no, I take your point.
Other thing is wrong content. People put stuff up there that they're interested in that nobody else is interested in. I've got a little bit of an illustration in a moment to show you why that's so important. Either next reason is that they don't optimize their channel or their content. Might not be aware, but how you optimize your channel, both in terms of the channel art, the channel name, and various bits of metadata, is quite important to attracting and retaining audience. So, you know, we could talk later on perhaps about maybe making some changes to that. And the content, by content, I mean videos. Obviously, you need to, you know, to upload those and optimize them. Algorithm confusion is the next thing. And the reason that the algorithm, or to be really pedantic, algorithms, because there's a whole suite of algorithms, there isn't just one, get confused, is because there's no consistency, and the metadata, by which I mean the titles, the tags, the descriptions, etc., are not clear and in a closely defined or tightly defined niche. If you think of the algorithms, I guess in your case, you'd think of them as angels or something,
Okay.
where, you know, they're going to go out and find people that are going to be interested in your prayers, but they need to have a really clear idea of what sort of person is going to want to, you know, to see those prayers.
Yeah.
The algorithms are on your side. There's a lot of stuff about beating the algorithm and hacks, you know, to trick the algorithm. No. You don't want to do that. You want to make friends with the algorithm and educate the algorithm through being consistent and through proper optimization so that it can go out and find an audience for you. And many of my clients, I see this, they chop and change all over the place, and the algorithms just go, you know what? I've got no idea who's going to want to see this. I'm out of here. So they disappear off. Viewers not coming back is a massive problem. If you don't have repeat viewers, then your channel is very unlikely to grow. Not to be confused with subscribers. If it's my mission in life, it's to stop people getting obsessed with subscribers. Subscribers do not matter. The only reason...
Thank goodness.
No,
that's music to my ears.
they don't matter. With certain caveats, you need to get...
Oh, here we go.
Well, you need to get, if you want to monetize using AdSense, you need to get 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours worth of views within the last year. And for some stupid reason, YouTube sends you plaques or, you know, trophies when you get to, I think you get the first one at 100,000 and then 1 million or whatever. They don't matter. It's bragging rights. What matters is whether or not you produce videos that people come back and watch. Because if you do that, your channel's going to grow and you will get subscribers by accident. Don't focus on subscribers. Focus on creating great content that people want to come back and watch it on your channel. And the rest of it will just happen. Bad content. And you might be surprised that YouTube's got a very simplistic idea of what's good content and bad content. And it doesn't matter what you think or I think. It's what the it's what the angels think. I've got to be careful with this, or I'm going to go to hell. But yeah, it's ever so simple. You know, you see this with a lot of clients. They come and they think their content's absolutely amazing, and it takes about a second to realize that actually it's not. It's not. It really isn't. The numbers don't lie. And then the last one, which is akin to the first one, is impatience. Like, this doesn't happen overnight. You show me a successful channel, and usually it's been around for a long time. I think we had a quick look before we started this live, didn't we? One of your
competitors.
They've been around since 2014.
I know.
Not surprising, is it? And what they didn't do is give up. That's the thing. Probably, I
haven't given up yet.
You haven't given up yet, but probably in 2014, I don't know if we started in January, probably by March, they were on the brink of giving up.
Yeah, maybe.
But they didn't.
They didn't.
And you're not going to either, are you?
I'm not. I promise you I'm not.
Fantastic. Right. So next slide. Wrong content. What do I mean by wrong content? I mean content that no one wants. There's a lot of people who produce selfish content, stuff that they like, but nobody else cares about, unfortunately. As I always used to say when I taught marketing from stage, find out what they want, sell it to them, rinse, repeat, buy a big house. That's it. It's much easier to serve a market than it is to make a market. And YouTube really is just a market for eyeballs, isn't it, really? So when we say sell it to them, what we really mean is sell them on watching your video in this context. When you're at school, you're always taught about supply and demand. I've never understood why supply and demand is the way round that it's always said, because really to be successful, you've got to basically supply a demand that's already there.
Demand. Yeah. Find the demand and then supply it.
Yeah, exactly. Never understood why people say supply and demand, but everything has to be demand led. If you want to create a market, then you either need something like a celebrity presence, or you need a lot of money in order to to do PR and advertising and stuff. Frankly, why bother? Just find out what people want. An example I usually give is my friend Giulio, who is absolutely awful at playing his guitar. Absolutely terrible. But he plays his guitar and he goes on holiday to these retreats and he just plays his guitar and he tries to sell DVDs because he's really on the pulse of what the kids are down with nowadays. Can anyone remember DVDs or CDs, aren't they? Used to be called CDs. Absolutely nothing happens. So what he decided to do was sell water instead.
Get away.
And now people will put up with his terrible playing and will pay pretty much anything he asks for water because they don't want his playing. It's terrible. What they want is water. And as soon as you start selling stuff that people want, then the money comes in, doesn't it? So what we've got to do in our context is make stuff that people want to watch. Now, this is not a direct lecture to you because we did some due diligence, didn't we? And we found that there is people out there wanting what you're supplying, perhaps not quite in the format that you're supplying it. But this is for the benefit of everybody else, really, is that if you want to have a successful YouTube channel, then do your research and find an aspect of what you're interested in that others want to see. So it could be, I don't know, in Julius's case, it might be that he's absolutely awful at playing the guitar, but maybe, just maybe, he's got a knack for teaching it. Or maybe he could, produce some how to look after your guitar or something. Goodness sake, don't play it because it's awful. But if he's into guitars, then he needs to find an angle that is in demand.
Yeah.
And it certainly isn't playing it in his particular case. Now, if it was Eric Clapton, he wouldn't need to try and get people to come because he'd have an agent fending off offers to play at the Albert Hall. That's never going to happen to him, thank goodness.
But right. You might supply them with water.
Exactly, yeah, if it's water, I mean, that's it. I mean, even a terrible salesman could sell dirty water in a desert, couldn't they?
I would imagine, yeah.
Yeah, Chris is saying how not to play your guitar. They're perfect. Yeah, exactly. He'd be absolutely perfect for that, Chris. Okay, so enough. I think I'm preaching to the converted. See what I did there?
But there is a level of sophistication, isn't it? Because you and I know people want prayer videos. What I think is the real skill, isn't it, is the type of prayer videos. No, not the type of videos, actually, the type of prayers. Because when I look at my competition, their prayers, some of their, I'll give you for example, a really popular prayer type is prosperity praying, which is nothing I'm ever going to do. That's when you pray for money. I'm never going to make videos about that because I fundamentally disagree with it. Okay. So it's, yes, we know there's people out there watching prayer videos. Absolutely. There's many, many, many of them. For me, it's whether A, I can identify what specifically people want, but B, whether that's the thing that I can provide. We know people want prayers. We know I can write prayers, but can I write the prayers that people want or am I even prepared to do that? Does that make sense?
Yeah, whether you're prepared.
So I need to know firstly, what do people really, really want in prayer videos?
Yeah, and I'll show you in a moment, or for the benefit of others, because I know we went through something similar, how I would go about finding out whether or not people want them and then niching down further perhaps into the type of prayers. Although if you know that there is a demand for, what do you say, prosperity prayers.
Prosperity prayers.
I would just do that. I mean, frankly.
No, mate, no, that's never going to happen. No.
Or maybe I'll do that one. I'll do that one.
Get on with it.
Do that one. I actually did do a prayer channel for a while, but I got very bored of it very quickly because I couldn't write.
Oh, well, what a surprise. You being an atheist and all, I'm not surprised. Actually, that could have made you pretty good at it in some weird ways.
To be honest, I didn't find it too bad. It just, there's too many other things going on. Right. Anyway, back on script. Yeah. So, TubeBuddy is, well, I use a couple of tools for this kind of thing. One is called TubeBuddy, and that's my affiliate link. So if you're going to sign up for it, this is probably the cheapest tool. I think if you've got less than 1,000 subscribers, it's like, I don't know, can you remember? It's less than $10 a month anyway.
Oh, it's really cheap. I think I paid an annual and it was about 50 quid or something. Yeah, it was really, really cheap.
It's dirt cheap. And what you do with this tool is you type in your ideas and it goes away and it comes up with some metrics that effectively help you ascertain whether or not what you're considering writing a video about or creating a video about is in demand and what the level of supply is. And what we're looking for, ideally, is something where there is high demand and low competition. Now, you're never going to find anything which is perfect. Generally, I don't care too much about the competition because I'm used to winning, frankly, without being too sort of arrogant about it. And the only reason I'm used to winning is because I do the things that we're going to be talking about this evening, right? So there's no reason why you can't be as successful. There's not much point in targeting something where there's low demand and no competition. It's much better to go after something where there is high demand and then wonder, about how we're going to beat the competition out there. Because strangely, even today, a lot of people just seem to have no idea about how to do YouTube. So it means that even though there may be competition, it's generally not that stiff. Some tips here. We talked about doing, in fact, may even do a live demonstration of TubeBuddy. We talked about, the space for prayers, and you've told me there are different sorts of prayers. Is it
prosperity?
Prosperity. I almost said prosperity.
That's not good for your false teeth, that, is it? No. Push them in a bit, mate.
So I was researching prostate cancer for someone earlier on today, another client, and I don't want to mix those two up.
I think you might be, don't you? There's probably a prayer for that, actually.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. Anyway, let's not
move on quickly.
Go down that route. But if we can be specific about the type of prayers, then we can educate the algorithm to find people that are into that very specific type of prayer. A little bit like I said on another live, to be successful, you need on YouTube, you need to be a one-trick pony, but you need to be the best or the most interesting at doing that one trick. So I had a look around today, and I know your channel it's about prayers generally. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's about prayers generally, yes?
It is. There is an overall vibe, but you wouldn't see it. So that's
okay. Yeah. So, but I know, knowing you're of the Catholic persuasion. Is that right?
I certainly am. But weirdly, I don't particularly write my prayers for Catholics, actually.
Right. Why not?
And maybe I should.
Why not?
Because there's a wider audience than just Catholics, and I know this is arguing against maybe the one-trick pony thing. I think when I'm writing my prayers, I'm sometimes thinking of people who are just floating through, they would be looking at prayers, but they could be any, of Christian, that generally be Christian.
Okay. So there's various different, do you call them, is it denominations?
Yeah, there's different denominations. Yeah. And some of my prayers were a Jewish person, because I use Psalms, which are Jewish prayers originally. So I suppose my thinking was more about, I didn't want it to be specifically Catholic. Now, that might be wrong, but I wanted it to be wider. I wanted it to be interdenominational, yeah.
Okay. How many Catholics are there in the world?
Oh, No, billions and billions and billions.
Okay.
Billions. There's loads.
Okay, so the point that I'm making is...
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I don't. Go on.
No, it's fine. If there are if there's a huge potential audience of Catholics out there, it would be a lot easier to claim and own the space of being the lady who produces Catholic prayers than it would general prayers, because again, I'm outside of my sphere of expertise, but I suspect that there are things that Catholics believe and would be interested in that I don't know, the fellas that knock on your door, Jehovah's Witnesses. I think,
I'll tell you what the challenge there, Pete, is when you talk about Catholic prayers, most Catholics would assume you're talking about a prayer written by the Catholic Church that you'd find in a Catholic prayer book. That's what Catholic prayers means to most Catholics. It would be a church prayer. It wouldn't be one I've written.
Okay, call it prayers for Catholics then.
I could do, but there would only be a Catholic element if I was taking something from the Catholic liturgy, from the Catholic writing.
Do that.
Well, I could, but that would be it would mean I'd have a lot less content to work with potentially.
Right, but you may find, well, let's put it this way: I don't believe that you'll run out of content, because people will ask for content in the comments once you start to get traction. And if you were to call it something like I don't know, original Catholic prayers or something, I'm not going to solve the problem now, because
no, I get you. I get where you're going. What about Christian? Can we do Christian instead of Catholic? Too wide? Yeah,
I guess. I mean, I'm presuming that if you think of it in terms of set theory, that Christian would be the universal set and denominations would be smaller sets within that.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Which again means that you're less tight on your niche.
Yeah, I get where you're going. I do.
Most people think that the wider the net they can cast, the better, because they'll catch more. I'm starting to sound biblical. They'll catch more fish. But honestly, it isn't. Usually the closer that you can get it and own it, the better. So I would at least suggest to you that you consider niching down into Catholic or something along those lines. So I feel slightly out of my depth because I don't understand the nuances, but I've heard so many times people giving me excuses as to why they can't niche down.
Yeah, fair dues.
That I'll probably knock it over.
Yeah. No, I get you. Having said that, just on the screen, that's only showing as good Catholic. That one
prayers. Is, but Catholic prayers on its own is good. But there are other suggestions down here.
Okay.
But also, the search volume here is excellent. And remember what I said.
Yeah.
I don't care about the competition because I can beat it, and so can you. So what we're looking for.
If you teach me how to do it.
Yeah. But,
okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. I'm taking your point. I really am. I won't argue anymore. I'm sorry.
No. It's good to have the discussion, but this is a good point, because if it said excellent, as it sometimes does, there's very low demand, but almost no competition. In my opinion, that's for that's not for us. We can do better than that.
Okay.
We'll go for the high search volume.
Yeah. Got you.
Okay. So I did a look around here and found some reasonable titles reasonably quickly. You'd want to spend some time on this because the pre-planning, and if possible, you'd want to get a whole set of titles or ideas, the themes at least, which are related for reasons which we'll come on to later on. The other thing you can do is use vidIQ. Again, my affiliate link there, vidIQ.
Okay.
And there's a slightly different strategy that you can use, which is effectively to have a look at your competitors and find out what's working for them right now. Now, the thing that vidIQ does, which as far as I know, it's the only tool that does it, is it gives you this thing called the video velocity, which is the number of views per hour.
Okay.
So rather than looking for keywords, particularly, what we would do is put in Catholic prayers and then look for other channels where people are watching those videos, right now. So this one here has got 466 views per hour. I would go in and I would make my version of the videos that are doing well.
Okay.
Got to be careful with that sometimes. And I've fallen foul of this myself because I like to get loads of stuff done in advance. So on one of my channels, I'd got a month's worth of content, daily content already in the memory, if you like, to go out every month, every day rather. But I'd used a lot of them. I'd been looking for things which were trending right now. But of course, in a month's time, the trends may have already passed. So this is a very good, if you wanted to do a video now to release tomorrow, this is a very good way of doing it. And I often fall back on this. If I can't find something, in TubeBuddy, which I fancy doing, or, I feel I can speak to, then I'll go into vidIQ. But it's horses for courses, really. But I think vidIQ is a little bit more expensive than TubeBuddy. Well worth it. But
it gives you a different insight.
Yeah. And I should maybe do a couple of videos on how to do this two strategies. But I did TubeBuddy and I did vidIQ, and then I looked at your videos, which is on here, and I honestly couldn't find a lot of crossover between the two. So I know I asked you before we started how you found the titles for your videos, but if you'd just like to explain to people how you came up with these, then maybe I can offer some insights for everybody.
Well, I'd rather do it a bit back to front, I suppose. I find a prayer, or I write a prayer, or something to inspire a prayer. So this is really back to front thinking. I know I've paid a price for this. And then I will think of different titles that would be good titles for that prayer. So I know that's totally back to front.
So if
get inspired, read something, think that would make a brilliant prayer, write the prayer, really like it. Then I go into TubeBuddy, which is the bane of my life, and it's nothing to do with them. It's a good tool. And I'll put this top one is a shocking example, isn't it? It's absolute cobblers. I did that really quickly because you shouted at me last week and said,
I told you off for not doing any, didn't I?
So I did, and I'd got that one, and I thought, I haven't got time to really think of a better title. So I do it back to front, which I know is wrong. So come up with the inspiration, read something, that's a brilliant prayer, I'll write a brilliant prayer for that, and I know I should be doing the other way around.
Yeah, it's almost...
The shockingly bad titles, and I really, really struggle with titles. I struggle with coming up with good titles. I use TubeBuddy. I'll put in a title, it'll say poor, put in another, poor, put in another, try a different way of saying it, poor, poor, poor. I've got videos all ready to make that I won't make because I can't get a decent title. Maybe because no beggar wants to watch them, truth be known.
Right. So yeah, it's kind of the wrong way around. I guess what we need to be doing is using TubeBuddy, possibly vidIQ, and there are other tools and there's other brainstorming mechanisms we could use to come up with a list of candidate themes and topics, and then use them as inspiration. To write
rather than the other way around.
Yeah. I mean, I won't go through it on this video, but I've also got some artificial intelligence tools where you put in the keywords and the titles, and it will pretty much write the content for you, or at least give you a good starter for 10. So the computer.
Well, that'd be frankly hilarious with prayers, but.
Well, yeah, but
who knows?
It's getting shockingly good. It's getting shockingly good, and it's going to get better.
Can I ask you a question about titles? Because I think I might have read this. I'm sure you did a video on shorts, one of your earlier ones, when you talked about with shorts you want short titles. And I think 40 characters, but I might have made that up.
No, 40. No, you remember that correctly. 40 characters is ideal, and for shorts, yes, it's best to have short titles. But the problem is we're trying to wrestle with sort of conflicting pressures, conflicting vectors, aren't we? We need to get the keywords in there. We need to make it intriguing for someone to click on, and we need to do it all within 40 characters. So that would be ideal, but in the real world, it's difficult to do that. So
because my main competitor, theirs are really long. They use very long titles. In fact, they sometimes do that where they put a line, so they have two titles.
Yeah, they're delineating for the.
So they're trying to So is that a good idea or what?
Not at this stage. When your channel gets bigger,
Ah,
it doesn't matter what your titles are, because
okay.
you're not going to get your views predominantly from search. As you get bigger, and
Okay.
as you train the angels, oh God,
Are you regretting this analogy?
I'm regretting saying that, aren't I?
I'm loving it. I'm loving you talking about angels. It's made my day.
Reminds me, I went to an exhibition once, and this lady came up to me and she's introduced herself and said, "We're here to see you." And it was her. I said, "We? There's only one of you." No, she's got an angel on the left and an angel on the right, apparently.
Ooh.
I told her to put more water in it. But anyway, so back on topic. Right. So as you get bigger,
Yeah, you can write what you like.
You won't need to bother about your title. You could just put a question mark in as a title or something.
Because people are going to watch them anyway.
Yeah, because the algorithm knows you well enough.
Oh, yeah.
To put you in front of people who it knows there's a high chance of them watching the video. But what we've got to do when you first start off is get keyword and intrigue in the title. So keywords at the front, because that's what the algorithm reads first. Yeah. And then a reason why they should click. So I'm doing this on the fly, but I know if the keyword was a short prayer, then maybe you want to give a benefit of that short prayer of praise, I don't know, so you can get some new trainers or something, or whatever they'd be praying for. I don't know. What's the benefit of them watching it?
Okay, that's really interesting. It's interesting, I keep talking about this competitive channel. They are very directive. So call on God, boom, boom, boom. Pray this powerful short prayer each morning, boom, boom, boom. Never go to bed without praying this short prayer. They're really maybe people, well, obviously people do like that.
People like to be told.
I can't imagine doing it myself, but maybe I should have to try imagining.
No, people like to be told what to do. They want to be directed. Because if they're confused, they won't take action.
Oh, it just seems so weird to me, that idea, though. But I'm totally not dismissing it, because it clearly works.
It does, yeah.
Do this.
Yeah.
Pray this every day.
Yeah.
It's like, yikes. Really?
Tell them what to do. You see that a lot, don't you?
No, I get where, yeah.
Yeah, it's like click here. It doesn't say click here, please. It says click here.
I just don't associate that with prayer, but that's my faulty thinking, and I totally get where you're going with that. They are awful titles. I've always struggled.
No, they're not awful. They're not awful. They're probably just literally misguided because they haven't been guided by demand. So misguided.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah,
that's my biggest problem. I'm chucking these prayers into the ether to some extent. Just because I like them, which I know is totally the wrong way around. It's a bit like your statement from earlier. Don't make content you like, because nobody gives a flying.
Exactly. Thing. But keep them in the bank, because when you're big, then you can use them. It's just to start with. We've got to appeal to the angel that deals with search, because that's all they've got to go on at this stage. Yeah. As you get, I'm never going to live this down, am I?
So this one at the bottom, I could have rewritten. It makes me uncomfortable, this idea, but I could have rewritten that as a prayer that will help, a prayer that will reduce your anxiety, a prayer that will.
Yeah. Or say this, or something like, say this prayer to reduce your anxiety now.
Oh yeah, I get you. Yeah, seems weird to me, but I totally get it. I do.
Yeah.
Say now your anxiety, and actually that one does work like that in a weird way.
Give it a go. I mean, the great thing about titles is they're not set in stone. You can always change them. So give it a go, and in fact, when you change the title of a video, the algorithm will go back and re-index that video. So,
shall I do that then?
Yeah,
Pete?
give it a go.
Could I go through my titles and just change them, be more? But then. Because the title and the thumbnail don't have to be identical. I have learned that.
They should not be identical.
Oh, okay.
Not that they don't have to be. They should not be.
Okay. Yeah.
Try and keep the verbiage on the thumbnail down as much as possible.
Yeah. Okay. Good point. Yeah.
We'll come on to your.
Oh God, do we have to?
But
look, Can I just explain? I do not have an artistic bone in my body.
I'd never have guessed. Joan, I would never have guessed. You've kept that well hidden.
You crap. Have you seen prayer video thumbnails? They make
I haven't.
mine.
I'm going to look. Okay, so we'll go on to thumbnails in a moment.
Fair enough. Calm down now.
But just to make a point so we're clear for everybody, you can change the title at any time. So if a title's not working, go and change it.
Oh, good idea.
Conversely, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I've seen so many people go in and try and improve a title on a video that's going well, only to find that it spoils it. So
okay,
the analytics are your friend here. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Okay, but most of these are broke, so we might as well get in and try and fix them a bit.
With the thumbnails, you can change them, and it won't re-index the video, but it may well affect your click-through rate. Now, when you become more advanced at this, you'll want to A/B test your thumbnails. So we'd get TubeBuddy is the only tool that I'm aware of that can do that properly to what's known as statistical significance. But you would do it every time you do a video. You make 2 thumbnails, and you would have TubeBuddy A/B test and find the winner.
Okay.
But that's only when your channel's bigger. At the moment, you don't have enough data to do that.
So we're not doing thumbnails yet, are we? I'm going to steal myself for that.
We're doing it on the next slide.
Right.
Okay, so what do I mean by videos not being optimized? We'll go through it. The titles are generally, this is not necessarily just on your channel. I'm saying this for everybody. So when I mean a video is not optimized, I mean the title's not optimized, the description's not optimized, the tags are not optimized, and the thumbnails are not optimized. Let me explain how all this fits together. The title is the most important piece of real estate. You get 100 characters, and you should have your keywords that you're targeting for search, certainly initially when your channel starts, as far over to the left as you can, because the algorithm angel reads from left to right in the same way that you do. Description, again, make sure it's nice and keyword rich. The first 2 or 3 lines or so are the most important, because again, the algorithm will read it in the same way that you would read it, from the top left to the bottom right. And you get 1,000 characters in the description, so there's plenty of room. Tags, nowhere near as important as people think for SEO, or for optimization, but really important in order to help the angel that deals with suggested videos categorize your video. So I won't go into that because we haven't got time this evening, but tags are important, but not in the way that people think they are. And you should be using common tags and specific tags.
Yeah.
Thumbnails. The thumbnail is important because once you've got found with the title, description, and the tags, and your video has been shown to a potential viewer, if you've got a rubbish thumbnail, they're not going to click on it, so it's all been wasted. Now, I just found a lady who's doing something, a prayer channel, and just clicked one of her thumbnails. Now, I'm not saying it's a particularly brilliant thumbnail, but it does have some key elements on it. First of all, it's got a face. And thumbnails with faces generally do better than thumbnails without faces.
Excuse me, not on my channel. Carry on. Totally opposite. Honestly, chicks do not make clicks, as you would say on my channel.
Chicks make clicks. Okay, well, let's
honestly, I'll show you, and I'll show you that. Well, we can see that.
Well, we could see it from your analytics if you had enough data in there for the conclusion that we would draw to be statistically significant, which it's not. So
see, I'm cross with myself now, because I literally did do an analysis, clearly really badly, of my thumbnails, and saw that the ones without faces, which I think it was a bit weird actually, just especially people praying, like got really low click-throughs. Images like this got better, not this particular one because it's a shocker, but anyway, sorry. And so I've made a judgment too soon.
And you know, again, completely data driven. You might be right. The point is, at the moment, we don't know. We haven't got enough data. So go with received wisdom until we've got enough data to run a valid test using statistical significance is a big issue. It basically means that people make a decision based on numbers that turn out to be to not really be speaking to us because there's not enough of them. And that's again why at the beginning I said, just keep making videos because then we get data even if we don't get views.
Yeah, I'm with you. So it's too soon to be making sort of judgments that I've made, which is don't use faces because they don't work on this channel.
Yeah, far too soon.
Oh, God. Mistake number 10. Carry on.
Now, if I was looking at the thumbnail above with the picture of the lady on it, what I would probably do is zoom in a bit to make her face a little bit bigger. And I'd probably do some stuff with the saturation and vibrance to make her, look a bit more, pop a little bit more. I might also try and cut down a little bit on the number of words on there. But as a general thumbnail, that is not half bad.
Golly. See, and to look at it, I think it's a shocker, but because I don't understand it.
What do you think's a shocker about it?
It's so cheesy, but that's not the point. I know. So,
it's a pretty girl.
It's our lady. It's not that a lady. It's our lady.
Oh, is
Mary?
it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, she looks like a pretty girl to me.
She does actually.
Yeah.
She is more frequently than not depicted as a very beautiful woman.
Well, I think she probably was beautiful. All women are beautiful in their own ways, aren't they?
Moving quickly on then, Pete.
Anyway, chicks get clicks.
Or you say something that you regret.
Remember that. And if that chick can't get clicks, who can? Right.
Okay. Shocking, honestly.
So, the algorithm is confused.
Okay, I get you.
Now, I went into your analytics, and everybody can do this in their own analytics. Go into the reach bit and then have a look at what the reach numbers look like. Now, what does reach mean? Reach is the algorithm's attempt to go and reach new audiences for you. So this is them going out and putting your videos in front of new potential audiences. So your reach is always going to be much higher than the number of views that you get.
Sure.
How much higher depends upon the click rate. In other words, the number of people that it's reached and said, look, do you fancy having a look at this?
Yeah.
And compared to the number of people that actually clicked on the thumbnail. That's why click-through rate is really important.
Yeah.
Because if it puts it in front of 1,000 people and, only one person clicks on it, then it's not going to show that video to more people because it knows that, people when they see it don't bother watching.
Don't want to watch.
And that's why you want to get your click-through rate up as much as you can. Now, your click-through rate isn't bad at 4.7% here. You can see it's at 4.7%. But again, it's such tiny numbers. And generally, when you put a video up, the click-through rate will be really good because it's going to an audience very closely defined. But then YouTube will try and disseminate that by sending it out to wider audiences, and the click-through rate generally comes down. YouTube say that anything over 2% is good. Frankly, I think that's on the low side. I like my people to be getting 5, 10, north of 10%. I think you're in stellar territory, really.
One of mine got 27, and I still can't fathom out why.
And on how many clicks?
Oh, hold on, let me have a look. Different screen now.
No need to answer it now, but my guess is, well, I know looking at these numbers, it will be on a small sample size, which makes it statistically insignificant. Insignificant. So what we want to see when the channel's growing is we want to see this reach start to grow. Not go flatline. Not go flat. Now, the reason I suspect one of the main reasons it's gone flat is because, it was doing okay to start with. And then we went into the wilderness, the 40 days, 40 nights without any blooming videos, didn't we?
Oh, don't exaggerate. You don't have to exaggerate. Look at
we went into a period where there was no new videos. So the algorithm goes, I was just starting to try and work out who wants to see these videos.
It's like a hungry beast, though, isn't it?
It's what?
A hungry beast.
Exactly, yeah.
Keep shoveling food at it.
Exactly. It'll eat you up and spit you out, at least.
Or it walks off and goes like, nothing here to see, I'm off. It's true though, isn't it? Like, bye. That was very interesting. At least in the beginning,
You've got to keep chucking it chunks of meat to chew on.
Yes.
So let me show you, again, this is one of my sort of demonstration channels, meditation or something. And I haven't done a hell of a lot of videos for this one, to be honest. But the ones that I've done are hours long as opposed to minutes long, like 12 hours or something. But if we go into the reach here, because I've been consistently on topic, like they've all been meditation videos, you can see that over time, you know, it had a little bit of an experiment there. That's actually when I tried doing a slightly different style of video, and it didn't work. So I went back to doing the other stuff again, and now it's just starting to grow. So this is what we want, the reach to continue to grow up. Yeah. So look, my click-through rate's only 4.8%. So we're in the same ballpark, but on a much bigger data set.
How often do you post those?
Those, I didn't do one of these for, I think 8 weeks, something like that. But but these are long videos. And in fact, actually, it's a good point. I did one at the weekend just for fun, because I thought, well, the channel's starting to do quite well. So I went and I looked at what worked before, and then I did more of it. So I wrote a guided sleep meditation about a log cabin. I just made it up.
Okay.
But you can see that this is, well, let's go into, I don't want to get off topic, but you can see that this is the average for my channel, and I've significantly outperformed the average for the channel, just by doing more of the same. So, no, you know, it only went live, I think it was last night. But the details aren't important, but by looking at what worked and doing more of it, I've now had my best performing video. Just it's not very clever, it's quite formulaic. But anyway, you see how it works. But that's all you've got to do is when you've got enough up there, find out what works and do more of it.
But I need a lot more.
You need a lot more.
Because I'm making assumptions on data that's not valid because there's not enough of it. Like the click-through and like the images and all that.
Exactly.
Okay. How much is enough?
Some people would say you want to do 30 videos. I think it's more than that. I would say 100 videos. Yeah,
because I've done 33 now, I think, haven't I?
Yeah. You're doing shorts, which I would argue that shorts
need a lot more.
Would need more. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the algorithm's confused. That's a reason why channels will flatline, because the algorithm just doesn't know who to show this to. And if you on the Catholic route, you know, or any other denominator, then it will know. The algorithm's a lot cleverer. And the reason I've put again, when I say algorithm, there's an apostrophe after the S because there's algorithms. It's not just one of them. It will know a lot more about the potential viewers than we will know. So it will know enough to put your videos in front of the people who are much more likely to watch it. So, you know, ultimately it won't be as clean as this, but it will probably only put your videos in front of Catholics.
Yeah.
I mean, that's taking it to the extreme, and it's never that clinical. But
I get it. Yeah.
The other reason that they flatline, as I mentioned, is that we're not getting repeat viewers. So people think that subscribers are the most important thing, and that's nonsense. What's important is that you're producing videos that people like on your channel, and therefore come back and watch all the videos that you put up there. Now, on this graph, which is in the audience bit, there are two lines. There's a blue line, or a turquoise line, and a purple line. And the turquoise line are the new visitors, and the purple line are the ones that come back. So the way to think of this almost is it's like your active subscribers. And you'll find, ironically, that the majority of the views are people that come from people that have not subscribed. Like in many instances, 80, 90, I think on my nursery rhyme channel, something like 98% of the views come from people who have not subscribed, which is why I say that subscribers don't matter. What matters is getting that purple line up there. Now, at the moment, that purple line isn't there. Again, I'll show you what I would want it to look like.
Is that because the videos aren't very good?
Possibly. Well, I'll show you that in a moment.
Okay.
But this is what we want to see, is the purple line gradually tracking the blue line.
Yeah.
And when you get really good at it, you'll find the purple line goes above the blue line.
Wow. Yeah.
And that way, the algorithm knows exactly what you're looking for, and all it does is just goes out and finds more people.
Yeah.
So your objective is to grow the purple line. That's it. That's all you need to do on YouTube. If you can grow that.
Oh, well, that's easy then. It's been lovely. Bye.
But it really is that simple. You can grow the purple line, you're successful. That's it.
Yeah, but it's hard. It's not simple. I mean, the principle's simple, but the doing of it.
Yeah. Well, it's like going to the gym, isn't it? It's dead easy to lose weight. All you do is you just don't eat much and you go to the gym.
Yeah.
But actually doing it isn't that easy.
No.
So you said, are your videos good or are they bad? Well, you've got examples of both on your channel. I'm going to show you this, a bad one. This is bad content.
Oh, yeah, that's a shocker. Do you know, I keep wanting to take that down. I'm so embarrassed. I tried something different. I just, instead of doing what I'd done, I did a how-to. So it was how to pray for. So it was tips, and it was just awful. Yeah, the results were awful. So I stopped doing those. I only did it once.
Let's explain to people why this is a bad video, because YouTube, although it will watch the video, in its memory, and it'll glean keywords and everything else, it doesn't really have an aesthetic appreciation of what's a good or a bad video. It simply looks at the numbers that we're looking at. And the key thing here is the average percentage.
Can't bear to look, mate, honestly.
No, this is not terrible. I've done videos that are far worse than that.
Bloody enough.
So what this is saying is that about your average percentage views is 30%, about 29%, about a third. But the shape of this curve means that people start watching the video and then they drop off.
Didn't like it at all.
Didn't like it. So
awful.
It just means it did. This one wasn't a hit. But
should I take it down, Pete?
No, not now. I mean, maybe later on when you're luxuriating in millions, you might want to.
I did know that. I didn't know when I made it, obviously, but I know exactly why. It's just different from all the others and just didn't work.
But that way, that's not a problem because you learnt from that.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I wouldn't do that again.
Exactly, and that's great. The fact that you've said that means you have learned, because I see clients producing stuff like this, and then they just go and do it again.
Oh, okay. Well, even I'm not that dim. I'm pretty dim, but I'm not that dim.
Well, I'm not sure it's dim. I think it's a belief that they know better than the algorithm, is that they love the content, therefore everybody else.
Yeah.
Back to the selfish content again, isn't it?
Okay. Yeah.
So in YouTube's eyes, and it's only YouTube's eyes, that's bad content. It might be.
Oh yeah, but it is though, isn't it? It's not just YouTube's eyes; it's everybody's eyes. People are looking at it and going, "Oh my days, I'm out." Yeah. No, that's not hard to accept. It's just not right. It's.
So let's have a look at some good content then.
Oh, thank goodness! Hallelujah.
Look at this one. You've got over 127.
How does that happen? Are people watching it more than once? Is that what it means? Oh.
It means that they would watch it and let it repeat, or in some instances, I don't think you've got it in here, but sometimes the curve goes down, then goes up again. That's people rewinding it.
Oh, right.
But this is a good one. So 127%.
Yeah. But hardly anybody watched it.
So it's obvious what you would do is do more of these.
Yeah.
And less of these.
I mean, in fairness...
You've gone a bit quiet, Joan. Have you gone away from the...
Yeah, maybe, sorry. Well, in fairness, they are normally around the 70-ish, especially the more recent ones, but that's because fewer people are watching them, I suppose. Because there must be a correlation, Pete. When I was getting so much of my views from the short shelf, that's people's, flicking through the shorts, isn't it? And then having a quick look. When people are going out and looking for your content, they're bound to, or they're more likely to stay with it longer, aren't they? That makes sense?
Yeah, yes. So
my later ones get really good, like this one, but that's because people have gone to look for this content rather than it just popping up on their short shelf. Yeah.
And the whole shorts thing, again, it's a big topic outside of this discussion. The algorithms are changing and YouTube's running all sorts of experiments. So they're very, very volatile. So, don't get disheartened.
Okay.
Keep making shorts, and probably later on you'd want to, and I'm going to do this on one of my channels, probably when I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to start trying making some long content to put on there as well. I don't know whether it'll work or not.
Even on your shorts channel?
Yeah, I mean, I might just change, if it gets to the point where, I put some long ones up there, and if it works, I'll just change the name of the channel. You can change the name of the channel at any time. So
from 60-second Love Advice, you'd go to?
Just call it Love Advice.
Love Advice, yeah. Yeah. I might go Pray for a While. You said we needed to change the title, but are we going to? Yeah,
I'd come up with something more Catholic-y, both in terms of name and, and imagery and everything else. Yeah, just make people feel at home. Make people feel that they've arrived on their channel.
Okay, that makes sense.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, so let's have a quick summary then as to recommendations for growing your channel. None of this will be a surprise now, having spent the last few minutes talking about it.
Yeah.
The overwhelming thing here is keep making more videos.
Yeah, get back into the groove.
Yeah, absolutely. Niche down, and by that I mean, make it more of a Catholic channel rather than a general.
For example, I might come up with something else, but I get your point.
Yeah. When you've decided what that is, then you need to optimize the channel and the niche, to fit the niche, and even things that get your channel up. For instance, like I noticed, you haven't even got a logo, not a logo, a profile picture. So you need to get that sorted, and the channel.
I'm having the banner redesigned, so I might ask you to put that on hold. Because I might rename it, but that's all going to be, I've got a designer working on that, because that's awful, obviously. Does that matter much though, especially on shorts?
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter, because you want all of the branding and all of the messaging to sort of gel together. The channel banner's not bad, but the channel
needs be a lot better.
It needs to be optimized, and also the metadata and everything behind it. Create demand-led videos, so rather than coming up with a prayer and then trying to shoehorn a title, be driven by the title and then write the prayer.
And I can do that using vidIQ, or I've already got TubeBuddy, as you know.
Yeah, try both.
I'm not sure I know how to use that on TubeBuddy. I know that sounds daft.
You're not sure you know how to do what, sorry?
How to find out what the demand is using TubeBuddy.
I'll show you.
Oh, please. Thank you. Sorry to be thick.
It's all right. It's pretty much what I'm just going to bring it up on the other screen and then drag it over. Can you see that on this screen now?
Yeah. So it's still, I get you.
So I can't spell is it Catholic?
Catholic.
It's terrible not being able to spell when you're doing things live. So we go and we'd sort of poke around here, Catholic prayers, and then we'd look Catholic prayers for strength. Oh, there's loads of them, isn't there? So I probably wouldn't go for that one, because even though it's saying it's very good, there isn't so much search volume. So you just want to poke around in here and find stuff.
Yeah.
This is a cup of coffee and an hour and a half or so of poking around.
Yeah.
A spreadsheet, if you like, but don't go by what you want to do. Go by what the numbers say it would be a good idea to do.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I get it. Whether I can apply it, but I will. I'll do my best. I'll bin all those fabulous prayers I've got that nobody wants to watch.
No, keep them, because once you become a name, then you won't need to worry about people searching.
Fair enough. I'll just put it on and they'll watch it. Got you?
Yeah.
That was with love. What a marvellous idea. Optimize
the videos, titles, tags, descriptions, all that malarkey.
Yeah.
Definitely better.
So just in essence, my thumbnails are bad because they don't have faces and the text's not on the left. No, the text was right.
There's also no clear branding. So if I saw a whole bunch of your thumbnails together, I wouldn't.
I tried that, but it didn't really work, did it? No.
Go and find someone on Fiverr to do it. That's what most of my clients do. They find somebody who's a graphic designer. I mean, frankly, I'm not a graphic designer. I tend to muddle along myself. But
so I need a thumbnail that's got a theme like yours on your love channel.
Mine aren't brilliant. But no, this is I haven't even looked at these myself. This is the meditation channel. My guess is these are probably a bit of a hodgepodge, but they will. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's a bit.
Well, they're a right dog's breakfast, mate. Those.
Yeah, but what I will have done is gone and looked at which ones perform. So I know, for instance, that this one here with the log cabin, that's doing quite well. I put a dog on one. I did a sleep meditation for dogs just because I know that dogs often perform well on on thumbnails. That one died a death. But
you don't say.
Woof 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 woof. So yeah, I just experiment a little bit. But the one thing that I have got consistent, at least, is the logo in the top right hand corner. But say do as I say, not as I do, because this is I practice. I just use this as a bit of fun. But yeah, sleep meditation for dogs didn't really take off.
Really? Oh, I am surprised.
Where are we?
Yeah, PowerPoint. Right, yes. Yeah.
Course correct using analytics. You need to live in your analytics. The numbers are your friends. They're the only thing that matters. So, do a crash course in analytics, or at least just poke around in those. And of course, hire a mentor.
You're saying that there's not enough data at the minute to be able to really,
But you can still dive in and learn about what you should be looking for. And the only way you'll get more data is to make more videos.
Yeah, I get it.
It's that simple. But say in terms of the analytics, the absolute most important bit in all of that is, can you get that purple line to go? Everything else should be aimed at making that purple line grow, really.
Yeah, and part of that is the niche, because if you're really talking to people who want to be there, they'll come back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
right.
Because it feels like home.
And finally, hire a mentor. If you know anyone that knows about this stuff, then hire them.
Let me have a think. There is there's somebody I vaguely know, but I can't think of his name at the minute.
As I always say, if you want to grow your channel, all you need to do is give me money. It's that simple. But that's the only sales pitch that I'm going to do. But as you can see, there's a lot of moving parts, and what we need to do is line them all up so that purple line moves in the right direction.
Brilliant. Crikey.
Do you have any other? I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can see you now. Very confusing having Facebook on the other screen, because I'm seeing you about 2 seconds after you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, that was just brilliant. Yeah, really, really good. Got a lot to, but I'm in a weird way, I'm consoled I'm doing so much wrong.
At least
rather than, because then, I know it sounds a bit daft, but it's sort of more resolvable.
Yeah, and just to soften that a little bit, you're not necessarily doing lots of things wrong. There are a lot of people doing things a lot worse than you, who have probably got bigger channels than you, for two reasons. One, they've been in it longer than you. You're talking about February. It's a blink of an eye.
March, I keep correcting you, 17th of March, will you try and keep up?
Sorry, 17th of March, even better then, but the channel was actually created in February.
Yeah, it was.
Data. So they've been doing it for longer than you, and my guess is if you look on their channels, their videos probably number in the hundreds as opposed to the
30s, yeah, they do.
And take heart in that, because it takes a long time to grow something, which is a barrier to entry for other people competing, because there will have been, believe me, many people who have started a prayer channel at the same time as you and have given up by now. And eventually people, if it gets big, people will buy that channel from you, because what they're buying is the 5 years worth of work that you put in that they can't shortcut. And that's why channels sell for multiple $1 million tickets once they've grown, because it's easier for someone to buy that footprint and grow it organically.
And try and do it themselves. Yeah.
So I should be doing prosperity prayers, should I?
No, you shouldn't. That's enough.
I'm not even going to Google them. But anyway,
No, you should.
you've been a real sport. Thank you very much.
Oh, no, Pete, you've been an absolute star. Thank you so much. And you're so good with me. You know, I keep stalking you and harassing you and basically, oh, I can't do this, like a big baby.
Don't you stop making those videos.
I won't. I won't. So thank you, mate. I really, really appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. And you've given me a lot to work on, and I will, I promise.
Good. That's the only payment I want, is if you actually bloody well do it. All right.
I will, I promise.
Lots of love. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.